Anambra kwenu, Imo kwenu, Ebonyi kwenu, Enugu kwenu, Buruburu. Thank you very much. Our most hospitable host, the governor of Enugu State, Your Excellency, the governor of Delta State, and the vice presidential candidate of our great party, former governors, members of the National Working Committee, senators, distinguished party leaders, ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by sincerely apologizing to the leaders and stakeholders of the Southeast Zone who got the notice for this meeting rather late or even failed to get it. I am also told that the party did not liaise properly with the zonal officials regarding arrangements for this meeting, but you went ahead and made the arrangements anyway. I will definitely let the party know so that we do better in the future. This past week has been a very difficult one for me, and I'm sure that must have contributed to my not getting a timely briefing on the arrangements being made. But I take full responsibility and promise to do better in the future. In fact, I have not communicated adequately myself, and for that, I sincerely apologize, particularly to our host. Our task is a collective one, and I appeal to all to watch out for lapses and bring our attention to them so that corrective measures can be taken in a timely manner. We cannot leave anybody behind, and we cannot take anybody or anything for granted. The campaigns and elections are huge, complex, and highly demanding undertakings, and we must win the election for the sake of our country and our people. I sincerely thank you, our own Buruguru, His Excellency Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, for his demonstrated commitment to the success of this rally, for the elaborate arrangements made, and for our electoral victory next year. I am told, and I have seen myself, that he went the extra mile to ensure that adequate preparations were made despite my communication shortcomings. That is leadership. That is commitment. That is selflessness. And I highly appreciate you, Guru Guru. Thank you. This very important visit is part of my consultations with the leaders of our various zones to thank them for their support, to listen to them regarding the issues specific to their zones, both in terms of preparations for the campaigns, but also governance after the elections. We must be prepared to hit the ground running from day one if Nigerians give us their mandate. Our country is in very bad shape, and rescuing it requires proper preparations and attention to details. not just in terms of general issues affecting the whole country, but also issues specific to each zone and states they are in, because they differ from state to state and from zone to zone. As you know, the Southeast is close to my heart. You have supported me through thick and thin, and I will always remember that. Your sons and daughters have played very positive roles in the development of my life and our country. They were key personnel who played important roles in the PDP government in which I served as vice president. And they have continued to excel in other roles across the world. You are a key contributor to economic activities in this country, and a government that wants to revive our economy and provide opportunities for our people must carry the Southeast along. I am a businessman, and I know that businesses need supporting environment to thrive. And when they thrive, the country thrives. I do not see the provision of infrastructure in any part of the country as a favor to that country or to that part. If anything, it is a favor to the country because we are one country and one economy. An illustration: a bridge across the river Niger or a coal power plant in Enugu is a favor to the Nigerian economy because they will contribute to growth in economic activities, not just in the Southeast, but across the country. We do not require identity cards from people and goods crossing a bridge. And electric power does not carry ethnic or religious currents when they pass low or high tension cables. When you understand the importance of infrastructure for economic development, jobs, and wealth creation, your focus would be to provide as much infrastructure as is needed in every part of the country, rather than treat it as favors to be bestowed on those you like and denied to those you dislike. When I was campaigning for the privilege of being a presidential candidate in the forthcoming election, I outlined 5 priorities: to reunify the country, improve security, fix the economy, restructure the federation, and improve human capital development. These are the areas that I believe would have the most impact on all other aspects of our development and our quality of life as citizens and as a country. Our country is more divided today than it has ever been, and it is our responsibility to reunify through equity, justice, and fairness. That way, we can all pull in one direction to develop our country and improve our people's lives. This will require giving every segment of this country a sense of belonging, not just by meeting constitutional requirements on federal character, but through government policies, programs and projects, and our body language and utterances as leaders. We need to provide efficient and effective government that secures the lives and properties of our people. Without security, life itself is meaningless. Economic and other legitimate activities become impaired, and investors will only flee. That is why security will be a top priority for a government that I lead. We will recruit, train, adequately equip and reward more police and other security personnel. We shall devolve policing powers to states that so desire can establish state police to help secure their states. I have been calling for this for several years. Even when I was in government, I had a disagreement with my boss on that. And we now seem to have reached a national consensus on it. Now there is no part of this country, whether north or south, which is against police, state police. None. Part of our task is to separate genuine political grievances from mere criminality. Political grievance will be addressed through the political process, while criminality will be dealt with through law enforcement. However, we will address the root causes of insecurity, including the lack of opportunities, collapse of education, climate change, and its impact on agriculture and animal husbandry, and lack of modernization of same. We shall modernize our agriculture, including animal husbandry, to help reduce the persistent clashes between farmers and nomadic herders, which have increasingly become violent. Since the late 1960s, we have had a faulty federal structure that concentrates too much power and resources at the center, thereby turning the federating states into appendages or parastatals of the federal government. A PDP government that I lead will work with the legislatures to restructure our federal system and devolve more powers to the states with corresponding resources. In fact, to give you an update, I had already set up a constitutional review comprising constitutional lawyers to help me draft an amendment to our constitution, so that from day one, I will meet with the governors, I will meet with the leaders of the legislators, so that we can have an understanding and pass that law or that amendment to our constitution. That way, states will be better able to set their own development priorities, while the federal government focuses on setting and maintaining standards. A federal system that does not encourage the federating units to compete among themselves in order to be better is a faulty one. This restructuring is not a favor to any section or group of sections of the country. Our country needs it badly in order to survive and thrive. Our economy also needs major reforms if it is to grow and provide jobs and opportunities for our young people. We must involve the private sector more in economic activities and investment, including in the provision of infrastructure. We shall stop fiscal support for non-performing government enterprises and also end, I said end, fuel subsidies. I'm not scared to say it, because between 1999 and 2007, I drew up a program of removal of fuel subsidies, and I implemented phase 1, phase 2. Unfortunately, after we left office, the subsidies continued to grow and grow and grow. It is simply a fraud. We will divert the fraud into more money and more development to the country. Support for the private sector as well as the medium and small-scale enterprises will unleash our people's creative energies as well as attract investments from outside our shores. Millions of jobs will be created. We did this before. In the government in which I served as vice president, you saw Nigerians returning from abroad to invest and seek other opportunities in the country, because I experienced it in my university. When I made sure I provide international standards and advertise, so many Nigerians from the United States and Europe came back, not only to, not to Lagos or to Abuja, but to Northeast Yola. And they came back. So all what we need to do is to make sure that we make our country attractive for them to return. And they will return. Under the APC, that trend has since reversed. People cannot wait to run away from Nigeria. All of you have relatives, children who are running away, United States, Canada. I have my own. I have refused any one of them to go to abroad and reside, because I don't believe in it. We have to stay in this country. Another critical priority area for me is human capital development. We shall provide good quality education and skills that will enable our young people to compete in the modern economy that is knowledge-based and driven by technology and innovation. We shall also provide good quality healthcare system that focuses on preventive care. We shall therefore make massive investments in these critical areas. A well-educated and healthy workforce is critical for economic development and wealth creation in today's world. My dear brothers and sisters and friends, this agenda will benefit the Southeast. A Nigeria that truly works will work for all its zones. We must tackle the feeling of marginalization, which is providing an excuse for the separatist agitations, particularly in this zone. National unity will benefit the people of this zone who need a wider platform to operate. Restructuring that devolves powers from the federal government and gives states the power to set their priorities is better for this zone than what we currently have and have had since the late 1960s. I believe that you should not pull back one of your child that appears to be doing better at some point so that your other children will catch up. No. Rather, you encourage the ones lagging behind to emulate the one that is doing well so that they can all do better. Holding the faster one back will result in all of them falling behind and handing victory to children who are not from your family. Also, insecurity pervades the Southeast now as much as other zones. And without security, people cannot go about their normal businesses. I am aware of how the economy of this zone and the livelihoods of its people are being destroyed by Monday sit at home, being imposed by a small misguided youth from this zone. I want to appeal to you as leaders and elders of this zone to prevail on those misguided youth. It is difficult to understand how you liberate a people by destroying their economy. Very difficult. This has to stop, and we shall address all political grievances not just by words, but by deeds. The provision of infrastructure is critical for businesses and economic growth in the region, including necessary linkages across the country. Improved education is critical for this zone and the country as a whole. So is good quality healthcare. But beyond these priorities, I would like to listen to these specific issues peculiar to this zone, which we need to address as a party and as a government. To that end, and without prejudice to what I will learn during this parley, I would like us to have a joint committee of our campaign. Thank you. Of our campaign in the zone with one representative of each state to liaise on issues specific to the Southeast zone so that we will need to address them if we work harder enough to win the elections. We will replicate these joint committees across the 6 geopolitical zones in the country. We need this level of detail, not just to win elections, but more importantly, in order to be able to provide good governance. I have been providing solutions after solution at every turn of an election in this country. And governments have been borrowing from my program solutions from time to time. Some borrow, implement, some borrow, they don't implement, particularly this government. The process will help us to hit the ground running on those issues as soon as we are sworn in. I know, for instance, that it is important to Enugu State that the Akanu Ibiam International Airport gains full approval to handle international flights. Once more, I thank you most sincerely for your support for me, our party, and all our candidates. we must all work hard, very hard, to make sure the Southeast is and remains our fortress. This will be a tough election. Let us work to secure every vote possible. The party and the campaign, I will give you the support you need. Buru Buru, I thank you again immensely for your support, your commitment, and your patience. You did it in 2019 when everybody was saying you were not going to do it. And here we are in 2022, going into 2023, you are repeating the same thing. You see, let me tell you a story about myself. When I was a young officer in the customs service after graduating from the university, it happened that my closest friends and associates were from the southeastern Nigeria. Why? Because they were businessmen. And I remember when I was hired into the Customs and Excise, then our instructors were colonial British officers. The first lecture we had in the class, the white man said, he was trying to define what is customs. He said, what is customs? He said, customs is to facilitate trade. He did not say customs is to seize somebody's goods. Believe me. So, because of that training, I never seized anybody's goods. What I did, I made sure that I recorded the highest revenue in every station I served. So if you look at my graph in the customs service, you find that any place I served, I recorded the highest revenue. If you bring goods which are contraband, of course there is a law. You either pay to correct duty or you pay 3 times or 6 times. I said pay and collect your goods. If you lose, it's your business. If you make money, it's your business. And most of the importers were Igbos, and they became my friends. So, from 1999 to 2007, when I was in government, go and check the number of Southeasterners that were placed in very key and sensitive positions when I was vice president. The chairman of the economic panel that I set up to draw our economic reform of Professor Anya, he's still alive. Go to Lagos and ask him. He sat down with other Nigerians to give us an economic reform report, which we implemented. When I asked him, Prof, would you want a government job? He said, no, I don't want any government job. And till today, he has never held any government job. You cannot say that I am not a friend of the Igbos. In 2007, as a presidential candidate of the Action Congress, my running mate was Senator Ben Obi. Who is Ben Obi? Is he not Southeasterner and Igbo? How can you say I don't like Igbos? I made it quite clear that, and confidently too, I will be your stepping stone to becoming a president. I did that. Thank you very much. I did that in 2019. Again, I brought another Obi as my running mate. Didn't I bring? So how could you say I will not give the Igbos a fair chance to lead this country. Again, in 2010-2011, when I became the consensus candidate of the North, again I chose somebody from the Southeast, another Obi, I don't know. So, and in 2022, here we are. Even when Ohaneze said no Igbo man should contest in PDP for presidency, after emerging as a candidate, I picked Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa as my running mate. Another Igbo man. Haba, for God's sake, be fair to me now. So my brothers and sisters, I don't address you anymore as gentlemen or ladies and gentlemen. My brothers and sisters, it is quite clear that you can't fault my love for the Igbo nation. You can't. And I still make bold and state clearly that I will make an Igbo man to become a president. I have supported somebody from the Southwest to be president. I have supported somebody from the Northwest to be president. I will support somebody from the Southeast to be president. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Buruburu, I want to again finally, in conclusion, thank you for your support, for your brotherly kindness, and for all what you have done to the people of Enugu and the Southeast in general, and Nigeria as well. One very, very, very private thing that I have not disclosed to you. I have 3 Igbo kids. Thank you very much.
Amen. Thank you.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.